experience. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. Time now for the White Sox lineup as they face Marco Gonzalez. Sox put up 5 runs yesterday, thanks in large part to the 3-run home run from Avisail Garcia, Anderson, then Leori Garcia, Abreu, Avi in the 4th spot. Davidson's first post-All-Star game start. Moncada, Smith, Sanchez, and Engel.
Let's take a look at the defense thrown out there by Scott Servais and his Mariners. It's Span, Heredia, and Haniger left to right, with Seager, Segura, Gordon, and Healy in the infield. Mike Zunino reappears behind the plate. First we've seen him in this series, just coming off the disabled list. And on the hill, pretty good left-hander, Marco Gonzalez. His 20th start, he's 10-5. His ERA below 3.5. Look at the rest of the numbers. His control is very good. 98 strikeouts to just 22 walks. That's a good percentage. And we'll take a look at what he throws. He has rediscovered his curveball. He's throwing that 23% of the time, the sinker at 33%, as you can see. So a lot of off-speed pitches. The cutter, which was very important to him, he's throwing that less and less as the curveballs become more prominent. There is a look at Scott Servais, the skipper. He's in his 3rd year, and the umpires, Tom Woodring has the plate, Vic Carapaz at first, Jerry Lane at 2nd, and Jordan Baker is at 3rd. So we're ready to play baseball on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm ready to turn over to my sunny dispositioned play-by-play partner, Jason Benetti.
Thank you, Steve. Look forward to baseball here today. 9 innings of beautiful blue sky overhead as the first pitch from Marco Gonzalez misses for ball 1 at 90 miles an hour, and we are underway from Safeco Field in the rubber match. Seattle 6 games up on Houston as the day started. 6 games back of Houston, I should say, in the American League West. 3 games up on Oakland for that last wild card spot, but the A's grabbed a game yesterday after an 11th inning win against the Giants. And so now that's a 3-game separation for that wild card spot. 2-1 on Anderson, who's been at the top of the card all year long against left-handed pitchers.
There was that changeup, and it's a good one. Same release point, same arm velocity. You get a lot of hitters swinging at that. So Gonzalez, who came over from St. Louis in exchange for Tyler O'Neill. That was the middle of last year, July 21st of last year.
To first base, and Healy in the throwback jersey for out number 1. Family Sundays feature tickets as low as $5 in the upper level, $15 in the lower level, and parking for only $10. Plus, special family-focused activities located throughout the ballpark. Family Sundays, proudly presented by Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. Visit whitesox.com/Sundays to get your tickets today. Family Sunday coming up when the Sox return home. That'll be a week from today. Kansas City and Toronto in town. We'll see how many Blue Jays pitchers are left in their rotation as the deadline appears.
Well, just about each and every one of them have been rumored going someplace. You figure Happ is going to go, and you wonder if Stroman's going to follow him out the door, but Marcus not throwing it as well as he could. Happ is throwing it very well these days.
0-2 on Garcia. You see the breaking ball from Gonzalez.
Curveball has gotten a whole lot better now that he's throwing it more. Straight change has always been very good, and now he's sinking that fastball consistently.
And in recent memory, the cutter has been really good. His last 3 starts, when he's allowed just a couple of earned runs in 22 innings, he's allowed only 3 hits combined on that cutter.
Well, the irony is that for a while they took the cutter away from him because they thought he was becoming too cutter conscious. And because of that, they said, look, cut down on that, use the curveball a bit more, and then establish your fastball away to the right-hand hitters. That'll allow then some room for the cutter inside.
1-2. Oh, yeah. And he struck him out low and in.
That curveball is a sharp breaker. This is down and in. Looks like what a lot of pitchers, a lot of left-handers call the back foot slider, but that was his curveball.
And here's what he threw against the Sox on April the 24th. Didn't have a hit against the cutter. In fact, the Sox had some success against the breaking ball when they made contact, and the sinker at 286. There were not many hits to go around in that game.
Now, he is the one thing that the Sox have never really appreciated, and that is a left-hander can get the changeup over the plate, mix in a curveball on occasion, and generally make it miserable for power hitters.
Breaking ball in for a strike. You heard Dylan Covey mention in his conversation during our pregame show, you get that curveball over, it's a free strike.
Well, certainly on the first pitch, sometimes on the first two pitches, but that's something that a lot of pitchers should be aware of. And by aware of it, I mean guys just don't want to hit anything spinning on the first pitch of an at-bat. They just don't want to do it. So if you can get it over the plate, you don't have to throw a good one. Just throw a decent one, get it over the plate, and you're ahead in the count. That's what Dylan was referring to as far as a free strike. He knows you're not going to see a lot of swing.
Upstairs, strike three. 1-2-3 inning for Marco Gonzalez. And the Sox will send out Reynaldo Lopez to the hill after this. Three, and it goes like this. Same top six as per normal. Gordon, Segura, Haniger, Cruz, Seager, and Span. Healy, then Zunino back from AAA, and Heredia back in.
The defense, and now Ricky Renteria is going to put him out there for our Sox. It's Liuri, Adam, and Abasayo left to right in the outfield, with Sanchez, Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and Reynaldo Lopez on the hill. Looking for win number 5 is ERA of 391. Opponent's batting average of 244. That is a good number.
First start after the break for Lopez. And first pitch hit to left field. Playable for out number 1. Garcia the catch on Gordon. Always nice to see his speed kept in the dugout, as here is what Lopez will throw.
He loves that four-seam fastball. It's upwards of 97, occasionally getting it to 98. The slider is getting better. The changeup, he's not throwing quite as much. In the curve, unlike last year, the curve has been an afterthought for Reynaldo.
So one down for Segura, who's 2 for 8 in this series so far. A hit in each game for the Mariners, who won in a low-scoring opener 3-1 on Friday night. And then yesterday, the Sox kept him to 0 behind Covey and Soria and Leori Garcia, as we showed you. One of the great catches in baseball last night.
That was a wonderful play. Set up nicely, brought the ball back in. It was actually out of the ballpark. And he jumped up as high as he could possibly jump, timed it as well as you could time it, and brought it back.
Soria had a notable glow about him as that ball was caught. Best catch anyone ever made for you? Anything pop in your mind?
Yes, actually it does. Oh, you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought because
you
it
might
did.
share
No,
it.
it did pop into my mind.
No.
I just didn't know exactly where you were going with that. You know, it is Sunday. It is early.
Well, I asked you the initial open-ended question.
Okay, well, it wasn't.
didn't.
It was an infielder.
Okay.
Amazingly enough, and it was runners at first and second, nobody out, in a bunt situation. And my third baseman, who was Doug DeSense from Baltimore, was literally halfway. He was probably no more than 40 feet, maybe 45 feet from the hitter,
Okay.
who did not bunt. He took a mighty swing, and it was a one-hop rocket. I have no idea how he saw the ball, but he picked it on one hop, turned a real easy double play, and eventually I got out of that inning.
How about that? Foul ground first base side and drifting into the seats.
I actually believe that was in the Kingdom.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, that carpet could run too.
It could that. Nothing comes to mind with the Southside Hitmen in that '77 season because they were a team that could really hit. But as far as catches, I'm not sure they caught one.
Yeah, they didn't call them the Southside Fieldmen.
No, they didn't. Or throwmen. None of that.
Check your unearned run numbers for that season. 2-2, very close.
That looked like it had at least a piece of the plate. I know Ronaldo certainly wanted it. Puts it right in Kevin's glove. He moves it one iota, but not much.
Tim at shortstop on the grass. Long peg. Safe.
Well, on the tail end of that play, turned out to be a heads-up play by Yolmer, and the reason is, and this is what baseball acumen is all about. So the throw is made. There's nobody near second base. So after watching the ball trickle away from Jose, Yolmer then runs to the bag at second because it's unoccupied. Moncada's running toward first. Jose is knocking the ball down. Anderson has made the throw. Nobody's paying attention to second base except Yolmer, who eases his way over there, being where he should be. Go to the unoccupied base. And that is a hit.
So one on for Haniger. Major power bat in this order. According to Fangraphs WAR, he has the third best ranking of all right fielders in Major League Baseball. It's Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, and Mitch Haniger.
Well, he showed up as something special in spring training and carried it over into the season.
First ever All-Star game for Haniger. He was 0 for 2. Well, we saw last night Segura is willing to run.
Yeah, he is.
Even in curious spots, he's willing to run.
Well, last night, an adventuresome try to steal third base cost him pretty much the inning. It was first and second, nobody out, and they came away with no runs.
That was their best shot at Covey all night, it turned out, and it wasn't close. Well, Seattle comes into this game with a run differential at -5, but still 19 games over 500. Ken Rosenthal tweeted a little while before this game from MLB Network Research, no team in Major League history has ever won 60 or more of its first 100 games with a negative run differential. The Mariners could be the first with a close win today.
That's kind of interesting. That's a testament to having a good back end of the bullpen.
And some luck.
You got to have some of that, certainly.
Segura runs, pitches inside, throw to second is not in time as the hat goes spilling off Segura.
Picked a good pitch to run, and from one knee, Kevin couldn't get him. So Segura swipes his 15th bag. He's been caught 8 times. It's a pretty decent jump. It's a breaking ball that floats inside and then to the back of the bag where he is untagged.
So 3-1 for Haniger. Segura at second. And that one flutters inside, ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. Hey, Sox fans, be sure to come watch the White Sox take on the Blue Jays Saturday, July 28th, 6:10 p.m. All fans are invited to stay for a spectacular postgame fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Get your tickets right now at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Nice old-time Sox hat. That's good stuff right there. Well, look, the Mariners don't walk very much. They're in the bottom 5 in Major League Baseball in walks by batters. So their big innings generally are founded on contact. And so an extra base runner here for Cruz with 1 out.
What we have seen is Haniger is more than willing to take a walk if you don't throw it in the zone.
He had 2 of them last night. That misses, ball 1. Cruz in this series 1 for 7. He drove in 2 on night 1. Sox kept him 0 for 4 yesterday. One ball, 1 strike.
That was a good slider that moved off the good part of the plate. He had Cruz well out in front.
Broken for strike 2. Yeah, you don't want to throw it down the middle if you're Reynaldo Lopez, and that goes for many pitchers, but 6 of the home runs he's allowed this year, including 3 out of the zone, though, as well on that chart. I mean, normally you do see pitches down the middle get hurt. However, to have 3 be actually unequivocally out of the zone go for home runs is unfortunate. Don Cooper basking in the Pacific Northwest glow. 1-2. First base off the glove of Abreu, and he had to play at third, didn't realize it.
Well, he also might have had to play it first, but Ronaldo was spectating on the mound. He was not over by the bag. It will go as a base hit. But Reynaldo Lopez has to realize that anything hit to the right side, you've got to go cover the bag. Now, you never know if he'd had a play, but with nobody there, you know that he doesn't. So that will load him up.
Well, Segura was breaking back to second base. He got a very slow start on his way to third. Yeah, here's a look at it. He was on his way back.
Yep. You'd have to figure he doesn't want to get doubled off. So everybody moves up.
And Kyle Seager, the batter. 30-year-old third baseman. Takes ball number 1. 4 straight first pitches out of the zone from Lopez. Segura and Cruz with singles, Haniger a walk. So now you've got Seattle in the first inning piling up as many hits as they had last night for the entire game.
And the base hit sandwiched around a walk. So some early trouble for Ronaldo. Crew with the bases loaded. Kyle Seager's been awfully good. We saw one of them here in extra innings. Extra inning grand slam to tie the ball game at 5-5.
Fouled off the net, 1-2. Well, you've said it before too, and the numbers are fairly extreme. Lopez, with 2 strikes this year, has gone very heavy on his fastball. About 57% of the time with 2 strikes, he's gone fastball. And when the secondary stuff becomes wipeout stuff, he'll be really dangerous.
You would think so. He's got to get a little more confidence in that straight change.
One and two. Yeah, fastball sliders about 90% of his 2-strike pitches this year for Lopez. On a 23-pitch first inning. Don Cooper awaiting a pivotal pitch here. Bases loaded, 2-2, 1 out, first inning. Downstairs, 3-2.
That was close, but did not have the corner.
Span next. Left-handed pocket in the order. Crowd rises, 3-2. Inside, ball 4. Bases loaded. Walk is the first run today.
RBI 57 for Seager, and Don Cooper a little frustrated with his young right-hander. He's going to come out, have a talk with him, see if he can stop this one from being torn apart early.
Well, Reynaldo Lopez has had the most typical looking youthful season this year in one way, in that sometimes young players have such great stuff and it is hit or miss on location, and that's what has done him in when he's been done in this year for the most part.
Well, by and large, he's had very successful outings. However, when he has gotten hit early, it's very difficult for him to turn off the opposition. That is the product of being a young pitcher. You don't know how to minimize the damage, and hopefully he'll be able to do it here. Span is a pretty tough left-hand contact hitter.
Well, Lopez this year has had 6 starts with at least 4 walks. Sometimes he's been able to pitch over it, sometimes he's not. ERA still sub-4 entering play today. Ripped to right field and foul.
That one didn't miss by much, but it was hooking and on the right side of the line.
In a couple of ways, the right side.
If that scoots into the corner, it's going to clear the bases. You see the hook on it and taking it foul.
Oh, 0-1. Fastball called a strike. big pitch. Former catcher disagrees.
Scott Service just got a contract extension. This is his 3rd year as a skipper of these Mariners. That was his first managerial job anywhere. And for the combination of Jerry Dipoto and Scott Service, general manager and manager, they've gotten along well, and they've got a pretty good ball club.
Two strikes for Span. Dipoto is hoping for a series win. Sox are trying to stand in the way of that. One and two. Just by a hair. 2-2. Reynaldo Lopez in his first ever appearance against the Seattle Mariners. After 2016 with Washington, last year with the Sox, but no chances against Seattle. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2-2 for Span. Left field. Garcia's underneath. Haniger tags, throw is offline. Mariners lead 2-0.
.44 driven in by Span. That sacrifice fly just long enough. Span now has 4 sacrifice flies.
And on the strength of 2 hits and 2 walks, the Mariners have 2 runs as Ryan Healy, a lethal power bat in the bottom third of the order, stands in. .18 home runs has him tied for 32nd in all of baseball, and a really quiet 18 home runs.
They got him from Oakland. 2 pitchers going Oakland's way: Emilio Pagan, Alexander Campos. That was on November 15th of last year, and he's proven to be what he was in Oakland, a guy who can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Throw to second, and not in time. Okada scrambling behind the runner Cruz.
Sox have used pretty good timing on these plays. That one just a little late, but it will shorten up the secondary lead.
They work especially well when Yoan Moncada doesn't get hit with the ball.
Yeah, that's preferable to that knee burger that he took.
That was from Reynaldo Lopez. Last time they ran that play together. Well, Ricky Renteria before the game said he's got to watch the film of it, but he felt like Dylan Covey was basically laying the ball into Omar Narvaez's glove last night, and we've not seen the same so far from Lopez. To Smith. That ball's juiced to left center field. And it is gone. A home run for Healy and a 5-zip lead for Seattle.
Last year, Healy hit 25 home runs, drove in 78. And this year he's on pace to do just about that. 19 home runs. He's now driven in 50. And we'll take a look at a bomb. This is a fastball that's pretty much right down the middle, and Ryan Healy disappears it. Short, quick on the follow through, and that one into the bullpen.
8th batter of the inning, Mike Zunino, who's back after 2 games with Tacoma. He was 1 for 5 just up the road. "37 pitches in the inning for Lopez.
One of those innings where he doesn't have real good command of anything. The secondary pitches aren't in the zone, and that fastball that he threw to Healy was not where he wanted to throw it.
Yeah, he's not thrown a slider for a strike. He's thrown 9 of them and gotten 1 swinging strike.
Yeah, that was to Cruz. That was a good one.
Number 40 is there for strike 3. So an 8 batter inning, 5 of them scored for Seattle, and we'll play the second after this.
The second inning is brought to you by Dunkin' Go-Tos. Double deals made for go-getters.
So say the Sox score 3 runs in the inning. Because of Dunkin' Go-Tos, can that count as 6?
Well, if you consider it a double deal,
Yeah.
no.
Fell for it again. The oldest trick in the book. Here's Avi, who continues to pound the baseball. A home run yesterday, accounting for most of the victory. It was in the 4th inning against Felix Hernandez. Strike 1, and take a look at where he's hitting the ball hard. It's basically everywhere up. A little bit softer, low and away, but how about 107.6 down and in out of the zone? On the ground to third, and Seager. Smooth out number 1.
Got to try somebody else because Seager's just too good at third, and on the surface doesn't appear to have a strong arm. It is a strong arm, but he gets rid of it quickly and floats it across more times than not. But if he needs it he's got it. Not as strong as some of those guys. Chapman's a little bit stronger at Oakland, but very accurate is Seager.
He's just a really clean fielder is how I describe it.
He is that, and every year he is right there with a candidate as the Gold Glove winner at third.
First start post break for Davidson. And strike one to Matt. It's been a while off now. Last game was a week ago for Matt Davidson with the All-Star break in between. Well hit and through.
Well, they usually call that the Olay because he was right there to make the play, turned to the side, and then had a bad hop pretty much eat him up. That undoubtedly will go as a base hit. However, when you field the ball off to the side, that's usually a problem.
Wow, E6.
Going to be E6, and he's looking up at the he's looking up at the scorekeeper now, going, "You try to field that one of those down here."
So exit velocity for you off the bat
is 1 billion miles an hour.
I mean, pretty much is 109.6.
That'll happen with comes off with overspin and then takes that big hop on the last hop before going in the outfield. I think maybe that one will be revisited.
You think so?
I would think they probably should take another look at it.
Segura's not real pleased over at shortstop.
Well, you can understand that. He's still a little unhappy being charged with his 12th error that leads the team in that dubious department.
He doesn't seem like he's in the mood to fill out some forms in triplicate to file an official protest. To third, Seager. Gordon. That's a double play. Healy went to get it, and they go 5:43 to end the inning.
Sox fans, you can visit the WGN Sports Game Zone for up-to-date stats and information, sponsored by UI Health. It's providing expert care for you and your family. UI Health, changing medicine for good. Learn more at uihealth.care.
First one grounded to shortstop. Anderson on Heredia for round number one, and a good start to inning number two for Lopez. As your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. These American League races are very exciting right now, especially in the East and the West and the wild card race as well. But it seems like the East is going to go down to the wire.
I honestly don't know if the Yankees can keep pace with Boston.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they have enough pitching at this point. Now, that doesn't preclude Brian Cashman from making a substantial deal.
Talk about hit them where they ain't. That's the ticket all the way to the wall. Gordon with wings on his feet into third.
Once he hit the bag at first base, you pretty much knew that he was going to go all the way to third. He just accelerated, and despite having a bad toe, which has really limited his effectiveness in stealing bases the last week and a half or so, you didn't see any ill effects of it on that tour of the bases. He crushed this ball in the gap and then was off to the races. Now the infield is forced to come in. A hitter's delight for Gene Segura.
Yeah, it's almost folly to pick your American League winner right now, considering these rosters may have heavy shakeups in the next 10 days.
I don't doubt that they will. Cleveland's already made their move to get Brad Hand to shore up their bullpen. They're not going to need much more of anything to win the division. They're going to win that in a walk. Boston, to me, although they haven't pulled away yet, they seem to have enough pitching to get the job done. I'm thinking that Yankees will be a wild card, but I don't think they're going to catch Boston unless, again, they make a substantive deal. They've got a lot of good young players. I don't think Brian Cashman wants to get rid of them exactly.
Right hand side, long run for Avi to the line. He's there in fair territory to make the catch, and Lopez backing up smartly to save the run.
Ronaldo was in the right place at the right time this time. Otherwise, that one is going most likely into the dugout. Avi does nail it down. The throw is not a good one. Anytime you short hop the catcher, he's got a different glove than you guys have. So you got to realize that short hops just don't play well with the catcher's glove, and so you want it either out on the grass or on a fly. In between where it hits the dirt, about 5 feet in front of him, that's a tough one to handle.
Most of our audience is outfielders, so that was sent to the proper group. You guys out there, you got different gloves than him.
Exactly right. Bigger gloves, more flexible gloves.
There's so much in the catcher's mind at that point too. You don't want to deal with a short hop.
No.
By the way, a couple of teams in the National League have gotten very hot. The Pirates, winners of 8 in a row, entering play today. They beat Cincinnati 9-2, so 9 straight. And the Rockies have won 7 straight to draw within a game of the Dodgers in the NL West.
Well, the Dodgers made their big move. Manny Machado becoming a Dodger, at least for the foreseeable future. But that division, again, is going to be determined by definitive moves by 1 or 2 of the GMs. San Francisco hasn't given up the ghost yet. They're only 4 games in back of the Dodgers.
4 straight out. Haniger takes his second walk.
Did that in yesterday's ball game. Walked the first 2 times.
So they have expected batting average now based on how hard you hit the ball and where you've hit it. Nelson Cruz came into this series with the biggest difference the wrong way between his expected average and his regular batting average, meaning he's been relatively unlucky this year. So he hits a laser toward first in the first inning. Abreu has it pop off his glove, and you have to believe Nelson Cruz is thinking, finally, I got one. Halfway to 100 already for Lopez.
That's a whole lot of work when you're not through the second inning.
In the air, right center field. Avi for out number 3. The anticipation and then the groan from the crowd. Still 5-0.
The third inning is brought to you by the Subway Triple Play. Text Subway to 97999 and the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
So many sandwiches in this ballpark, by the way. They have some great food here at Safeco Field. Got to rove around a little bit.
Yes, I saw you did, and I also enjoy the fact that you brought back some tasty snacks.
Well, I like to share.
Yeah, not for me, but
I did.
Very tasty.
I brought some back for you.
So they were grasshoppers, but they were marinated in
chipotle, lime,
whatever. Concasse.
Up the middle. Look out, Marco. One down. So Dylan Covey last night, 8 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. In shutout baseball, he was 2 outs away from the Sox' first complete game since 2016 in Chris Sale. And he was just tremendous.
From his first inning on, he was in command of everything.
Got some good defense. There was one error, but for the most part, there were a couple balls hit fairly hard, and Sanchez, among others, made some very nice plays. Tim Anderson roving behind the second base bag on a ball, included in that.
The hardest hit ball was Yolmer at third. However, the best play was saved for Leary in left field.
It was indeed.
And that was after Dylan Covey had departed.
Why would you not try one of the grasshoppers I brought up here to the booth?
I would normally, but I like a different marinade.
What kind of marinade?
Anything but what it's marinated in.
Yeah. They do. They have toasted grasshoppers here. That's on the line to third. And out number 2. We're talking about Dylan Covey. He goes 8 1/3. He wears number 68 on his back. And here is some other 68s, including Blake Smith, who we saw for 5 games a couple of years ago, Eric Threets from 2010, and Doug Lindsay back in 1993. The number 68 reserved for folks who have not been here for a long time.
Well, maybe Dylan Covey, if he keeps on throwing as he did last night, might have that number for a while. I talked with Don Cooper about Dylan Covey specifically and what he had last night, and he said, look, we don't know for his future if it's going to be as a starting pitcher or it's going to be as a pensman. However, he is a major league pitcher. I mean, Don was really impressed and has been impressed with his stuff, because you can tell if a guy has good enough stuff to stay in the major leagues. Then it's a question of harnessing and get a repeatable motion, harnessing his command and control. And Dylan at times has been able to do that, but stuff-wise, Don Cooper thinks it's absolutely major league stuff, consistently major league stuff. So it was then just a question of where he is going to be when all of the other young pitchers start to get here.
Well, we've seen flashes, but last night was not just a glimpse here and a glimpse there. It was aggressive, confident pitching in the zone early on. And as you said, that plays.
Well, that stuff especially, I mean, when you can sink it at 95, 94 miles an hour, you're going to find a lot of guys hitting ground balls. That is a really good straight change from Gonzalez. Good straight change, and a good straight change. You can always tell it because you see a hitter well out in front. You can see him move his hands forward before the ball gets in.
He's willing to throw it on 3-1 too.
I mean, he's got supreme command in it, so it's not surprising he'll use it at any time.
All the outs so far for Gonzalez, similar to Covey last night on the infield. For the most part yesterday, the outfielders could have taken guitar lessons or made a nice meal for themselves. They were not very busy. Wrapped to second, and Gordon. 1-2-3 inning for Gonzalez. Clean first time through the order. The GMC Sox Farm Report, and we begin in AAA Charlotte, where Eloy Jimenez has made it his 3-hit home. This is a double down the line against Indianapolis yesterday. Charlotte's already played again today, but Jimenez 3 for 4 yesterday, a double, a pair of singles, 5-4 win for the Charlotte Knights. And then Blake Rutherford in Myrtle Beach in the Carolina League, the only remaining outfielder from the beginning of the year who hasn't been called up to Double-A. He continues to pound the baseball in Winston-Salem with a victory. And for Rutherford, he's essentially in Winston-Salem in large part because There are just too many outfielders around, and everybody's got to have playing time. Garcia in left for out number 1.
Well, that's absolutely the case. I mean, there's a logjam in Double-A. They can't find enough playing time now for the outfielders they have. So Blake Rutherford, to get the 4 or 5 at bats every day, he's got to play somewhere. So he's playing an A ball and torturing the pitchers around the league.
Yeah, Carolina League only has 10 teams. And those other managers have got to be saying, like, why is he still here? We'd like for him to leave, please. One down for Span. Who thought better of the bunt with the ball buzzing toward his kidneys.
It's one thing to lay down a bunt. It's another thing to follow it off your anatomy. And that's where that was headed if he made any contact at all.
There's a strike from Lopez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Span a sac fly in the first inning. A 5-run inning for the Mariners. They've got that run differential back to 0 for the season. Came inside and Span tried to turn on it. 1-2. Well, Oakland's up 3-0 on San Francisco in the 4th inning, and it seems as though the Mariners are going to have a difficult time shooing away the Athletics.
Well, the Athletics, as they have done in recent vintage, playing very good baseball heading toward the All-Star break, and usually they play very well after the break. That's one of the reasons why, at least this year, it appears they're going to be adding and not subtracting to that team. Because there was a while where everybody thought Trinan was automatically going. That's not going to be the case.
That's fouled off. Still 1-2, and now he's got a partner in the back end of that bullpen with Jeurys Familia coming over from the Mets.
I think they're going to be fine on the back end, and everybody also thought that Lowry was going to be traded because he's having probably his best year of recent vintage, swinging it well from both sides of the plate. And as it turned out, they are not going to divest themselves of talent. They believe they've got a bona fide shot at the wild card, and they're going to take it.
Two and 2. Another foul hit hard. Well, Lopez and Span are not exactly in sync in their timing.
Well, Span does take a whole lot of time to adjust himself, to put his hand up, to tell the umpire I'm not ready yet, and then eventually there's the hand up. Yep. Okay.
Doesn't really do anything. Not getting time based on that. 2 and 2. If the pitch comes and the umpire hasn't signaled, but the batter has his hand pointing at the umpire, but there's been no signal, the pitch counts.
It absolutely counts. Yes.
Two and 2 again. Just off the plate now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's pitch number 60 for Lopez. 34 strikes, 26 balls so far.
Command just hasn't been there, hence the 5 runs.
Span lays off, and walk number 4. for the Mariners.
StatCast AI powered by AWS, and it comes off the bat of Ryan Healy in the first. A 3-run bomb, his 19th of the year. He's now driven in 50. 106.3 miles per hour exit velocity. It was a line drive, so it's 26 degrees of launch angle. And it was a blast, any which way you measure it.
A man whose first career hit in Major League Baseball was a home run, but not of the regular variety. Has made a career out of hitting home runs. His first hit and home run was off of R.A. Dickey, so the rare guy who had his first Major League dinger against a knuckleballer.
Not an easy task normally, unless you get one that's rolling, which we've seen on occasion.
Foul territory, third base side, and no play for Sanchez. Sox will go to Anaheim to take on the Angels for 4 starting tomorrow. Another 9 o'clock start time for us, 9 o'clock Chicago time. Lucas Giolito on the mound. 3 night games and then a day game on Thursday on getaway day before the 6-game homestand. Oh, 0-2. Healy flips it to right and it's in. Span read it well, first and third.
Healy now 2 for 2, and Ronaldo in a jam again. This fastball inside. Healy was able to bring his hands in. Doesn't get a whole lot of it, but he gets the decent part of the bat, enough to guide it into center field. They could certainly use a double play ground ball off the bat of Zunino, who's coming back from a sore ankle.
Nothing in 1 on Zunino. Former 3rd overall pick by this Seattle team.
They love his defense. They love the way he handles a pitcher, calls the game. And they would love to see that bat consistently where it was the second half of last year. He's got a whole lot of power.
Now Zunino by way of the University of Florida, and it was likely destiny that got him here to Seattle. He actually went to Mariner High School in Cape Coral, Florida.
There you go.
He is a Mariner alum, at least to the amateur level. To third, Sanchez thought about coming home. Now he's got the rundown. Smith back. No advancement from the runners so far. Lopez has it. Rundown continues. Play at third. Tim with a great read. Double play.
Well, that was a poorly conceived rundown. However, it turned into gold as eventually a few of the Mariners ran out of gas. So we will show it to you when we come back. In the meantime, it's still 5-0.
You can score at 867-5309.
Time now for the Danley's defensive play, and it turns into a double play, although it doesn't start well. Here's the rundown. So it's 5-2, 5-2-5, and then 5-2-5-1, and then 5-2-5-1-6, and then 6-7 on the double play. All's well that ends well. And by the way, when you think of garages, think Danley's and not necessarily that particular rundown.
Next time you see a 5-2-5-1-6-7 rundown, think Danley's as well, as Anderson bounces out to Healy over at first and one away. How about Garcia sneaking in on the backside of that play to field the double play throw?
Heads up play. Again, go to the unoccupied base if you don't have any responsibility. That was a heads up play.
I think it was Kike Hernandez the other night. He had a ball go to the outfield and there was a rundown available. He came rushing in from short left center field and got involved in the rundown for the Dodgers. And here is Garcia. How often do you see an outfielder make a play on the back end of a double play and then come up
second?
Yep. Yeah.
Not too often.
Marco Gonzalez. So far, light chop, if any, on his day.
A left-hander can get his changeup over the plate. There hasn't been a Sox team that has done a great deal with the soft-tossing left-handers that consistently get that straight change over the plate. But watching Gonzalez today, you can understand why teams will give chances to left-handers who can do just that.
I mean, 2 runs in 22 innings in his last 3 starts coming in. It's not the time you want to face this guy.
Now pinpoint control and a great straight change to go with the newfound use of the curveball.
Line drive, and Gordon's on the case. What a catch by D. Gordon.
They love the defense that D. Gordon gives him at second. So much so that they're going to keep him at second most of the time, even when Robinson Cano comes back. So we'll watch it again. A line drive rocket up the middle to his right. A couple of steps. Gordon makes the play, keeps a no-hitter intact, and Leury hits the daylights out of it with nothing to show for it.
A beauty by Gordon. 2 out for Abreu. And there's strike 1 to Jose. So how good is Gonzalez's stuff today? You think there's no hit stuff around?
I think his stuff is good. You can't project it, I don't think, for a no-hitter, but I think it's good. I'd like to see Jose break out of this sometime soon because it's been a very frustrating situation for him.
Yeah, slugging .314 since June the 2nd, which is a very rare number to say for him. To third, fair ball. Seager at the line. A bullseye for out number 3. Everything on the infield. Every out on the infield for Gonzalez. Today it's brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional deals. Hashtag SoxMath. First correct answer wins a road prize. Dylan Covey outs last night, minus the number of outs more than his career high that was. There's your question for today.
I don't know about the sentence construction on that last question. I'm just looking at that.
You're the SoxMath grammar
Yes,
squad?
I am the grammar police.
Oh, you must be fun at parties.
Oh, yeah. A barrel of laughs.
Strike one to Heredia, who bounced out to shortstop in the second. Locals here will tell you that the couple months out of the year when the gray sky thing goes away and it's sunny, it's one of the best places in the country to live.
Temperatures are great. Low 70s for this entire series. Very few clouds. Yeah, this was a beautiful weekend.
A little hotter down in Anaheim for us, it seems like.
It will be, yeah. That it will be.
1-2. It's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You like these retro jerseys?
I do. Yeah, I think it's a handsome uniform.
A lot of folks walking around the concourse wearing hats and such. Call it the old days, but the franchise isn't more than 4 decades plus old. Floated to left center field. Engel. Or out number 2. Number 1, I should say. Heredia out number 1. And Gordon coming up.
Our high-speed replay is powered by Xfinity, and in the second inning, it's off to the races for D. Gordon. This one split the gap, and then there was no chance of cutting him down.
Yeah, he's a major asset for this Mariners team. Flexible, great speed, batting average near 300.
I would say we'll put the bat on the ball, and then when he does, he'll steal a base for you.
Leori Garcia in left for out number 2. Segura 1 for 2 with a run scored. So Reynaldo Lopez, when he was with the Nationals, and it was minimal time, it was 11 games, 6 starts. His strikeouts per 9 were up, is where I was going with that, and I'll ask you about that when we come back.
No, you're done. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's not how this works.
Oh, I thought.
More innings left, more baseball after this. answer for game number 3. James Boson, your winner. 25 outs for Covey, -4. His career high was 7 innings, 21 outs. 25 -4, 21 is your answer. Congratulations to our first-time winner, James Boson. Well done. You win a grasshopper from Safeco Field, maybe.
And you know he's a first-time winner because you keep track of every winner.
I do.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a big old document. It's written on papyrus. 2 strikes on Avi, who grounded out to third in the second inning. But I was saying on Reynaldo Lopez.
Yes.
His strikeouts per 9 were about 8.5 when he was with Washington. That dropped last year with the Sox to about 5.5 and is actually up to 6.5 this year. And you believe he's going to be more of a strikeout force down the line, right?
I do, yeah. As soon as he gets consistent command of that slider, I think he's going to have a good enough fastball to eventually use that up and out of the strike zone to strike people out.
Gonzalez goes to the breaking ball for his 3rd strikeout.
Good curveball, and everything is working very well for Marco today.
There's a look at his strikeouts, and you have to imagine downstairs curveball changeup is what he relies on in those quadrants that are fiery red.
When you throw 89, 90 miles an hour as he does, you're not going to get a lot of swing and misses in the strike zone. That's why getting ahead becomes paramount, because if you get ahead, then you can wipe guys out of the strike zone, which is what guys like Gonzalez depend on. They show you a pitch that looks like it's going to be a strike, dives out of the zone. In the meantime, you've committed, but you won't commit if you're ahead in the count. If you're up 2-0, you're just going to look at that. But between that cutter inside, which the last pitch was, and the curveball that he's got, they have a lot of pitches that stay in the zone for a long time before dipping out of the zone to get that swing and a miss.
Heavy reliance on movement for Gonzalez as he buries the 0-2. 36 strikes, just 14 balls.
And the fact is, here with 1 out in the 5th inning, he's only used 50 pitches.
Former first-round pick back in 2013, the same year the Sox got Tim Anderson. Gonzalez was 19th overall. Anderson 2 picks ahead at 17th. Sean Manaea also in that first round. That was Kansas City drafting him 34th. And Chris Bryant was the number 2 pick that year behind Mark Appel. Cue shot first base side and foul.
That's one of those that was in fair territory long enough and nobody could get over there to make the play. Would have been a relatively easy out, because when you squib one off the end of the bat and you're a right-hand hitter, almost without exception, you're pulling yourself away from first base because you're taking a big healthy cut. You're fooled, so you've squibbed it off the end of the bat, and it takes you a step before you can get out of the batter's box, which would have made a touch in fair territory into an easy play. But with Healy back, Gonzalez falling off the mound to the third base side, nobody could get to it.
1-2 came inside, and Matt got a piece.
Gonzalez using eye levels very well, because at 88, 89, it's not usually fast enough to throw it by a whole lot of people, but it is if you keep it just below chin high, which is what he's trying to do. Now it's going to be a breaking ball. He's going to sink it down and in.
Matt lays off 2-2. Davidson last time up skewered a ball to shortstop, and Segura couldn't make the play. It turned out to be an error. Wonder if that will come into play late in the game.
Probably won't be revisited if there are no other hits.
You wouldn't imagine so. Strikeout comes away. 4 punch outs for Gonzalez.
He set him up inside, and then there's the straight change.
The base is empty. Moncada. Takes a strike. Nothing in one with Jose on the bench. 1 ball, 1 strike on Moncada. Wrapped foul, third base side. Yoan is actually having a fairly nice season. Yes, the strikeout numbers are high, but when you look at the second base wins above replacement leaders in the American League, he's right around Robbie Cano and Gleyber Torres, who you've heard so much about. Altuve, of course, #1, then Lowry, who you talked about.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't move him earlier, but they're happy because they got really hot.
As Gonzalez is, he strikes out the side, that one looking, and a no-hitter through 5 for Gonzalez.
Sox fans, you can check out the White Sox blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media because
Nationwide is on your side.
And it's on your side also.
Lopez to Haniger for strike 1. Mitch Haniger, 2 walks each of the last 2 nights or days.
As night moved into day today.
Yes.
A quick turnaround for the day game finale.
It's almost night in Chicago. Sorta.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing along.
Not quite yet.
One and one to Haniger. A little bit low. 2 balls and a strike. Two and 2. Tim at shortstop with the peg for out number 1. Time now for the random White Sox leaderboard. And since we're in Seattle, we figured we'd tell you who had the most White Sox home runs while Ken Griffey Jr. was on the team. And
I'm
the
going to
answer?
guess Jim Thome.
Oh, congratulations, you win. and you win a grasshopper. Yeah.
But thank you.
August, September 2008. Canerco right behind with 13. Ramirez, Dye, and Swisher. The Griffey era in Chicago. A little longer of an era here in Seattle.
Yeah, what a player he was. His dad was a good player, and Junior was a great player. In the meantime, after a very rocky first inning, this is exactly what Don Cooper and Ricky Renteria want out of Ronaldo, is go deep in the game, find some way to get your concentration back and go deep in the game. Certainly was helped with that third inning and a couple of mistakes on the base paths.
Again, his pace is substantially different than when he was in trouble.
I don't understand why most pitchers don't figure out that if you work more quickly, you'll get your rhythm and it will come to you and you'll keep it. And we've seen it so many times. Pitcher works quickly, then all of a sudden starts to get you in a jam. Now he slows things way down and that rhythm never comes to him.
Two and two. Wide of third. Sanchez wanted to field it, but it doubled back on him.
Yeah, it hit the seam where the grass and the dirt in foul territory meet and then kicked back toward fair territory. And Yolmer not anticipating that, and why would you? As you look at a 40-pitch first inning, other than that, the game is well in hand.
Yeah, the most in one inning Covey threw last night was 17.
And just really a remarkable performance.
Bullpen starting now for the Sox. Luis Avilan getting loose. Mariners do have back-to-back lefties coming up with Seager and Span. Two and two. Popped it up third base side, foul territory. Sanchez against the Sun, and Yolmer with the victory. Sox fans, join us Thursday, August 2nd. Sox take on the Royals, 1:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans get a free Hawk Harrelson themed t-shirt presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Get your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Bundle of Sox fans here at Safeco Field. Good looking Hawaiian shirt. Seager takes a strike. Well, the Seager family, in part, is the reason Manny Machado ended up in Los Angeles.
And without the loss of his brother,
may not have been a gap as Engel closes this one down in the fifth. So Lopez, 7 in a row retired. We go to the 6th. And today, Sox are trying to get a gulp of a hit. Nothing on the board in the hit column against Marco Gonzalez. It'll be Smith, Sanchez, and Engel coming up. Ball and no strikes. Called ball one by Tom Woodring, our plate umpire, who is from California and in fact has a tie to the White Sox staff. The Sox video coordinator, Brian Johnson, came up to me during the series and he said, hey, what do Dylan Axelrod, Tom Woodring, and I have in common? I said, what a strange riddle this is. So the answer is they played together at Santa Barbara High School. Woodring, Sox video coordinator Brian Johnson, and former Sox pitcher Dylan Axelrod.
What did they play?
Baseball.
Oh, okay.
3-1 on Kevin Smith.
What was Brian, the shortstop?
I'm going to leave that one there.
No,
you can tell him what
could very well
you
be.
Said.
He looked like he would have been a spunky shortstop.
3-1 in the air and foul right side. 3-2 to Smith. Sox only base runner in this game was on an error charged to Segura on a ball Matt Davidson hit nearly 110 miles an hour, and Segura got over it, but it took a while.
Yeah, he was a little unhappy.
3-2 to Kevin. Ball four. So here's the ball Davidson hit. That's an error for now. Yes, it was right at him. No, it wasn't hit softly.
No, it was not hit softly at all and did take a big hop, but with no other hits, that will stay in error for the moment.
Sanchez, strike one. Still 0 outs in the outfield for Marco Gonzalez today. Everything either a strikeout or an infield out. Up the middle, rescued by Segura. We'll see at the conclusion of this game how much they'll be talking about his play.
Segura is probably playing his best shortstop of his career, and this is just an outstanding effort. He takes it out of the glove, flips it backhanded with his throwing hand, gets enough on it to complete two with Gordon, the pivot man, and it's easy after that. Great play by Segura.
That 5-hole Jerry Lane.
He was able to get out of the way. Give him credit.
Adam checks his swing and doesn't go. Nice agility by Jerry Lane.
Showed some nifty footwork.
He deserves a couple seeds for that. So Gonzalez suddenly getting behind a couple of hitters in this inning, something he had not done much at all in this game. 2-1.
That was a break because that wasn't all that close. But he's been around the plate quite a bit, so you get the benefit of a close call. That one did look like it was off the plate, however.
Up the middle, D. Gordon has it ricochet off his glove, and the question is, will that be a hit?
That's got to be a base hit. Because even if he comes up with it cleanly, he's not going to be able to throw out Engel, so that breaks up the no-no. This is a rolling breaking ball up in the zone, and Gordon making a nice effort. Cannot get to it.
The official score is getting booed.
Yeah, the fans here are booing the official score, but that would have been just a great effort, and I don't think he'd have come up with it. I don't think he'd have got him at first base.
That's not a 1. Oh, that is.
There it is.
Live scoreboard changing. Almost as riveting as bullpen phone dialogue.
Could be some of that.
Real-time scoreboard changing. Oh, and 1 to Anderson. Lofted left field. Span going back at the warning track, and this is out of here. Tim Anderson lights up an 0-1 pitch, and the Sox are on the board at 5-2.
That's the 14th home run of the year. Tim's now driven in 42, and things look a little more entertaining here. It's a 3-run deficit on a towering fly ball to left field. He doesn't get all of it, but I think Tim thought he got enough of it, and it just kept on going.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. Tim, one of 3 players in baseball with 13 or more homers and 21 stolen bases. Him, Jose Ramirez, and Starling Marte. Oh, and 2 on Garcia. Broke it low and in for strike 3, but the Sox crack that score column. Tim Anderson's first hit of the series is a major one. Splash down and left for Tim. 5-2. Sox are on the comeback trail.
Luis Avilan comes in the ballgame on for the 44th time. He's 2-0. His ERA a little above 4.25. Ronaldo Lopez went 5, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits, walked 4, fanned 1, so his day is done.
Avilan will face the left-hander Span first, and then a couple of hitters who are better against right-handers than left-handers. So Sox starters the last 8 games had an ERA of 2.28, a rare in the last week plus worth of games. Big number in the run column against a Sox starting pitcher. Guided to second, Moncada throws Span out. Join us for the annual Double Duty Classic Tuesday, July 24th, as the next generation of inner city high school baseball players face off at Guaranteed Rate Field. Admission and parking is free, and first pitch is at 1:05 p.m. Plus, gates open at noon. Visit whitesox.com/DDC for more information. Our friend Lawrence Holmes will be there as part of the panel and doing play-by-play for the game as well. Very talented Lawrence Holmes.
Lawrence can do just about everything.
Yeah, he can.
He's very good, very knowledgeable about sports, all sports as a matter of fact.
You know, he's named a donut. He created a donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bully for him.
He's a big donut wonk.
Which donut exactly did he create?
I don't remember what kind it is. He's an artist. You can ask him. He's on Twitter.
Okay.
Ryan Healy is 2 for 2. And he takes a strike. Going to need some bleach for that jersey.
Been a busy man today.
Fouled away, 1-2. Avilan's thrown that curveball much more this year than in years past. He's up to about 20% with it, which is the most since his rookie year with Atlanta, and opponents have just 1 hit against that curveball, 1 for 11.
Well, more times than not, being a situational left-hander, he comes in to face left-hand hitters.
Beautiful spot there. Strike 3, 2 down.
So when that situational left-hander faces a lefty, he's going to throw more curveballs than he would against right-handers. That's why there's so many more this year. But this time he freezes him on a fastball, has him looking for anything else, and then realizes that he was just outguessed.
Two down, Zunino. Last we saw Mike Zunino, he was hitting one of his pitchers with a throw down to second base.
Yes. Not recommended for your staff or for your psyche if you're a catcher.
Oh, and 2 just off the DL. Sometimes the timing takes a little while.
They didn't even notice when Zunino hurt himself because he was on the base paths, must have taken a wrong step, and then was forced to go to the disabled list through a minor league rehab with that sore ankle. But they really miss his handling of pitchers. They miss his calling of games. I'd like to see him come back and start to hit the ball like they know he can, but has not been able to do it so far this year.
Strike 3, Avilan. Back-to-back punch-outs and a 1-2-3 inning. 10 straight sent away by Sox pitchers.
debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Sox are trying to find the equalizer here, trailing by 3 after a 5-run outpouring in the first for Seattle. A 2-run homer for Tim Anderson last inning, and now it's Abreu, Garcia, and Davidson coming up to face Gonzalez, who remains in with a 3-run lead.
Yeah, I don't think Scott Service is going to be terribly patient with Gonzalez. He's averaged under 6 innings per start. He's already gone 6 in this one and showed signs in the last inning of the boys starting to figure him out. So the bullpen is up and going, double-barreled action for Seattle, and Scott Service will not hesitate.
Fouled back just below our location, 1-1, and here is the action in the bullpen you were talking about.
Pezos, the left-hander, and Nicasio, the right-hander. We saw Pezos in the ball game last night, and he threw it very well. There is Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach.
Who had his Grand Slam anniversary the first day we were in here. Inside the park Grand Slam for Mel Stottlemyre. I think it was back in 1965. One-two, ripped foul, third base side.
One of those swings that could maybe shake Jose out of this. We'll watch it again as Jose cranks this one. This is a breaking ball that just spun in the zone. From a pitching coach standpoint, when you're looking at that, you're realizing that your pitcher is starting to lose a lot of his rotation on the curveball. It's the first sign that he is tiring somewhat, even though he's at 80 pitches.
1-2. Into center field. That's a base hit. Good sign for Jose. And the leadoff single brings up Avi Garcia.
Jose, a very happy man. He got a base hit.
Yeah, you can see that
he's a little happy with that because he took a really good swing on the pitch before. This time Gonzalez got in on his hands, but he was able to muscle it into center field. So it could very well be that that sequence of the hard hit foul ball and then guiding it into center field by pulling your hands in, that might be what Jose's been looking for.
Avi sprays it to right. And there is out number 1. Let's quiz Steve on his own career. Sticks and Stone, it's brought to you by your local Volkswagen dealer or VWdealer.com. Who got the save in your first Kingdome appearance?
First one ever?
Uh-huh.
Ever?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I don't think it was Clay Carroll. So it comes down to either Laren LeGros or Silvio Martinez. I'll say Laren LeGros.
Could be anybody.
It could be.
You're going to say A.
Yeah.
How long was that after Mel Stottlemyre's dad had his Grand Slam?
Seemingly years.
Couldn't have been long, right? 6 years?
Let's see. Well, I'm thinking
8 years.
Thinking maybe it was 1977.
77. Ripped to left, base hit for Davidson. Tying run's going to come up.
In the meantime, let's see if Scott Service is going to go to that pen, as his left-hander, who was untouchable through 5 2/3, has been very touchable here. And now Moncada, representing the tying run, comes up.
Yep, that's going to be it.
He's going to want Pezos. He wants the Moncada to hit from the right side, but he wants the left-hander. So Pezos coming in. Gonzalez walking out. As he does, we will step out and be back after these messages. is James Pezos. Up for the 39th time. ERA of 2.45. We saw him in a spotless inning in last night's game. Opponent's batting average of 2.38. He inherits Sox base runners at first and second. Only one out here in the 7th inning.
This is the time when you have to get Seattle, because if you find your way to Edwin Diaz, you're probably going to lose.
That's not good.
He saved their last 7 wins. So Moncada, who's 0 for 2. Sox with 4 hits the last 2 innings after Gonzalez went 5 2/3, no hit. In the air, left field, and foul. Solid contact. Strike 1. In there for a strike, 0-2. Even to get 1 here in the 7th and get yourself a little bit closer would be ideal against a tough bullpen for Seattle. Oh, 2. Seattle got all of its runs in the first inning. A 3-run homer, Ryan Healy. A bases loaded walk for Seager. And a sac fly from Denard Span, the run scoring plays. To right. Haniger at the line is underneath it, and no tag from Jose. 2 on, 2 out. Let's see if you are indeed a winner this Sunday afternoon. And Sticks and Stone brought to you by Volkswagen. Is it A? It is. Congratulations.
Thank you. Wearing those fine unis. Laren was the closer on that ball club for a while.
And Scott Service is going to play matchups here. So Kevin Smith coming up. Scott Service says thank you. And he'll go righty-righty with Smith. Narvaez is on the bench. We'll see if the Sox decide to make a change in kind after this. The Indians Friday, August 10th. Stay for the postgame fireworks presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody. Get your tickets at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
Third pitcher of the inning is Juan Nicasio. On for the 40th time. Look at the walks and strikeouts. 4 walks, 46 strikeouts. That's in a total of 37 innings. So the stuff is really good, yet the ERA is up over 6. So the term wild in the strike zone comes into play. Not throwing good strikes, but getting the ball over the plate. With opponent's batting average of .311, that's a really high total.
Hits per 9, though, 11.5, which is by far the highest of his recent career. It is Kevin Smith, and he does take ball 1. One ball and 1 strike on Kevin Smith. Yolmer Sanchez next. That nearly got him.
Just up under his chin.
Two 1. Hammered foul first base side, and somehow it ends up in Matt Davidson's hand. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fastball at 95. Sox strand a pair, 5-2 at stretch time.
And it's all the Angels coming up. Those are 3 of the first of a 4-game series. And the Angels, a team that's scuffling right now. trying to get their pitching staff in order, and our Sox will provide the opposition coming up after this ball game.
The Angels have 10 pitchers on the disabled list. 10.
So Ram trucks, built to serve.
Your taglines come like a day later.
Well, they're a little late, yeah, but better late than never, as they say in the ad game. And we've got a new pitcher, Genmar Gomez, coming in the ball game for the 3rd time. There you look at the numbers. Trying to preserve a 3-run deficit to this point.
Gomez, who threw very well for AAA Charlotte, now here with the Sox for just a couple of outings so far. He's bounced around the National League recently, but came up through the Indians organization. Well, Seattle has hopes maybe of expanding its lead on Oakland for that wild card spot, with the Giants coming back today to tie the game at 4 against the A's in the bottom of the 7th after one of the largest crowds in history at the Oakland Coliseum yesterday. Just 50,000 plus. They opened up those Al Davis seats out in center field. Good to see the support flowing from Oakland.
Just when you think it's safe for Noah Syndergaard to actually come back and throw, he comes up with hand, foot, and mouth disease. He's going to be disabled for the Mets.
How's that happen?
They're speculating that helping out at a kids camp over the All-Star break allowed him or got him exposed to that, and he's got it.
Proving once again, if you're a major league pitcher, you should always carry around hand sanitizer, evidently.
And foot and mouth sanitizer also.
That's
apparently
a great point. Two and 0. Left side, Anderson has to hustle it, and Abreu through the crosswalk for out number 1.
Tim would have loved to have chosen a shorter hop, but he couldn't get to it. Off the back foot, floats it across, and Jose able to make the catch.
See, that's one of those instances where it's very practical for Jose to backpedal.
On the other side of the bag, yeah, because obviously he'd have had to jump had he not moved back 1 step into foul territory.
First one, a strike to D. Gordon, who's 1 for 3, which is bad news because the Mariners are 18 games over 500 when he has a hit this year. But Jason, he had a hit last night and they lost. Yeah, that's true. But for the most part, when he gets a hit.
Who said that? Was that the third man in the booth?
Could have been anybody. Could have been this
Who
little eagle.
Who could have possibly said that? Yes.
Half-hearted swing, 1 and 2. You don't talk baseball with yourself sometimes? Argue with yourself?
No.
You argue with everybody else?
Yes. And then I'm argued out and don't have a chance to argue with myself.
1 and 2. In the air, short left field. Garcia. It's a whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. 5 runs in the first has held up so far for Seattle. away 1-1. Roof open the entire series.
And absolutely gorgeous. The wind not much of a factor at all in any of the games.
Looked like it was going to be early today.
Yeah.
One and two as Colomé loosens in the Seattle bullpen. So it looks like Nicasio and Pazos have collaborated to finish the seventh, and that's all for Nicasio.
I would think now you get into the real tough part of their bullpen. Colomé, a bona fide closer, is now the setup man to Diaz, who is just a wonderful closer.
"37 saves. I mean, he's going to crush the record for the Mariners. It's 48 is the number that he has to beat.
You would think so. They play good, solid baseball. They have a very good inner defense. And consequently, you get a lot of games where that last man is of critical importance. And Diaz is the last man.
Kaz Sasaki holds that record in a single season, and looks like Diaz is going to clear 50 for sure. 37 just after the All-Star break.
Yeah, assuming he stays together, and he hasn't had injury problems so far. That's one of the most devastating closers in the game.
2-2 on Segura. Ooh, a drop in the crowd. Could have had it, didn't.
But he gave it to that young fan, so that's good.
Two and two. In the air, right hand side. Avi charges, he stops and makes the catch for out number 3. Last Mariners base runner was a hit in the third. Sox are staying in at 5-2. And a lifetime experiences from Chicago White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. StubHub is your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox.
And we got a new pitcher coming in the ball game. It is Alex Colomé. On for the 44th time. You see his save efficiency, although he is not the closer on this team. 12 of 16 before coming over to Seattle. Now he's used as a setup man. So you look at some pretty decent numbers. He does get the ball over the plate, and when he does, he's usually very good at it. We have seen him in this series. He came on to set up Diaz in the opener on Friday night.
Omar got a hit off of him. I should say Sanchez got a hit off of him. And then he stranded 2 runners, Anderson and Garcia, with outs to the outfield. Yolmer trying to make it 2 for 2 in the series against Colomé.
Olstead and Santiago throwing in the Sox pen.
Let's see if Colomé has his control leave him.
That's been a recurring theme. We talked about becoming a setup man after being a full-time closer and the lack of adrenaline when you come into non-save situations. That has occasionally plagued him. With Seattle, he's out for the 21st time, so he's been a busy man since coming over.
Two and one. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 pitches really, the fastball, and then whether you call it a cutter or a slider, that's what you're going to see otherwise.
Well, if he gets any depth on it, we'll call it a slider. If not, it is a cutter. Whatever it is, we're going to see it here.
More like a slider that time.
Yeah, there was a little depth on that as he threw it right in under the hands of Yolmer, and he struck him out. You see where Zunino wants it? That's exactly where Colomé throws it.
One down for Adam Engel. Adam had the first hit in this game. It was a 2-out single in the 6th. Off of Marco Gonzalez. That's called a strike.
When you get a pitch that you believe is off the plate outside, usually what you want to do is go back out there, only this time throw a slider, get it a little further outside, and see if the hitter wants to protect.
That's what happened. It was down and away.
That's how the pitch before sets up what happens on the next pitch, because as long as he went out there, Colomé knows that Woodring called the last pitch a strike. So he goes out there again, a little something extra on it, makes it sink a bit, and turns into a strikeout. 2 up, 2 strikeouts.
So it's up to Tim Anderson, who's provided the only run scoring for the Sox this afternoon. And here it is.
Our 4th drive of the game is off the aforementioned Tim Anderson. Doesn't quite get to 100 miles an hour exit velocity. Didn't have to. It just kept on going. So visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Brute strength that time.
And a very lively bat. No doubt about that.
0-2 on Anderson. Sox are staring down the barrel of Edwin Diaz, who has been a lockdown closer this year for Seattle for the most part. Tapper, Segura can't barehand it. Boy, he has been a nightmare for the official scorer today.
That's got to be a base hit because the speed of Anderson dictated that Segura had to go and try to get it with his bare hand. And that's a do or die play. It either sticks, it doesn't. If it doesn't stick, it's going to be a base hit. So it's our I.dot safe play, reminding you that safe driving habits really are a matter of life and death. Visit lifeordeathillinois.com and well scored a base hit. So that's 2 of them for Tim.
Now's the time to kick up a rally because Edwin Diaz has not given up a hit since June 27th.
That's a good run.
To first, Healy holds the line, and that is all she wrote for the Sox in the 8th. 5-2 Seattle.
It's time to go places with Toyota. Let's go places. And Albert Pujols is going lots of places, namely to the Hall of Fame. That's when you take a look at 630 home runs with a batting average up over 300, knocking at the door of 200 runs batted in. 110 stolen bases, so he could run at one point with over 3,000 hits, and a 2-time World Series champion. That is a Hall of Fame resume for Albert Pujols.
630 home runs, tied with Ken Griffey Jr. for 6th all time.
Chris Volstead comes in the ballgame on for the 31st time. He's 1-5. His ERA up close to 5.
He'll face Haniger first. Sox will see the Angels starting tomorrow in Anaheim. Our first look at the Angels this year. Shohei Ohtani in the lineup today. He's 0 for 2 right now against the Astros. Angels are up 6-1 in the 7th.
Looks like they're going to be a 500 club when our Sox come to town. They would be right at 50-50.
He got on Lance McCullers Jr. early today, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. He walked 5 Angels. Walked a couple people who aren't
Angels.
very nice either.
Yeah. A couple of those. Yeah. Mix those in every now and then.
Two balls and a strike. Been a while for Volstad. His first outing after the All-Star break. And ball 4. Haniger has been a walk dispenser.
He leads the team in walks, and he's not shy about taking them. 5 in the last 2 days, as a matter of fact.
First Seattle base runner since the 3rd.
Ronaldo Lopez started this one, went 5 innings, and it was Avilan for 1, Gomez for 1, and now Volstad trying to hold the deficit right there at 3.
That's it for a strike from Chris. Sox in the 9th will have Abreu, Garcia, and Davidson scheduled. There is left-handed power on the bench, though. Narvaez, Polka, and Delmonico all available. Nelson Cruz off his 6th All-Star game. Line to third. Sanchez up high for out number 1.
Haniger didn't have much of a chance to get off base. Yomer was thinking about going there, and here comes Ricky Renteria. He's going to make a change.
A lot of left-handed batters coming up, or guys who are not as good against left-handed pitching. So Ricky Renteria out to the mound. Volstad a 1/3 of an inning and 1 walk. 7 games in 6 days back in 1973. You were a part of this. What was that like?
Well, a 3-man rotation is something I have to laugh when guys talk about now going on short rest. They have, 3 days rest in between their starts. That's short rest. We had a 3-man pitching rotation. We got a lot of work.
How'd you feel second time out there?
Not great.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I started the 1st and the 4th game in Texas at the end of July in the same series, a Monday night and a Thursday night. That was 4 straight starts on 2 days rest. We were literally pitching on the 3rd day.
Didn't anybody say anything?
Yeah, they
to the
said
manager?
if you don't take the baseball, it's going to take you 3 weeks to get another start. So on a 1-year contract, you took the baseball.
Well, it's, I understand the love for back in the day from people who pitched or hit or whatever back then. It seems like we do it better now for the health of the players.
I would think
so.
so.
You agree?
Yeah, I would think that would be the case.
Yeah.
But they wanted to get Wilbur Wood as many starts as possible that year.
Right.
And that's why they went to a 3-man rotation. But in the meantime, Hector Santiago comes into this one on for the 31st time. He's 3-3. His ERA up above 5.5.
So he'll face Seager, then Span. What'd you do in between starts? Just sleep?
Wasn't much you could do. You certainly didn't throw. I mean, if you played catch, it all was in the outfield, but you didn't do too much between starts.
I'm fascinated by that because pitchers are so creatures of habit, and your routine just gets exploded.
Yeah, that wasn't a time where you could say to your agent, hey, why don't you give him a call and find out if we can find another starter here somewhere.
Yeah.
That wasn't the way it worked then.
It was take the ball or go away.
Here it is, take the ball or it'll be 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks till we can get you another start. You didn't want that.
Kyle Seager takes ball 1 inside. Where's he going to hit the ball?
I would say it won't be to Yomer unless he really squibs it off the end of the bat.
Go to first, and Haniger back. Oh, the Astros are starting to come back. It's 6-3 now in the 7th inning as Houston has a pair off of Cam Bedrosian in that Angels bullpen. Alex Bregman with 2 driven in. Not surprising. Two balls and no strikes. On 3-0. Ripped past second base. Seager does have some power against left-handed pitching. He's got 5 home runs against lefties this year. And on 3-0, he decided to take a cut at it.
Well, his manager decided to allow him to swing, maybe getting the best pitch of the sequence, and he drilled it right by Moncada.
Two on, 1 out, and Denard Span. That roar was because the noise meter was on.
A very large noise meter.
Oh, one of the largest in the AL West. Ball 1 from Hector to Span. Uh-oh.
Well, you would think with a 3-run lead we would see Diaz. If they get some insurance, we would not see Diaz.
So 6 pitches from Hector so far. 5 out of the zone and the 1 base hit. Called a strike, 2-1. Haniger at second, Seager at first. Sox hoping to come back. Anderson a 2-run homer in the 6th. Seattle with a 3-run homer from Ryan Healy in the 1st that has stood up on its own so far. Two-one. Now 2-2. Well, Seattle as a team does not strike out very much. Top 5 in baseball and fewest strikeouts. They don't walk very much either, but it's been more walks than strikeouts today. 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. Two balls, 2 strikes. Denard Span, who has driven in 22 runs this year in the 7th inning or later. He has been a major contributor in the final couple innings this year for Seattle. Two and two. Lifted foul. Tomorrow's game in Anaheim, it's the California native Lucas Giolito against Jaime Barria for the Angels. And Carlos Rodon's first start after the break is Tuesday against Felix Pena. Shields and Skaggs on Wednesday, and then Dylan Covey against Nick Tropiano on Thursday. Two and two again. Pump to left. Garcia's back on it. And there's out number 2. Haniger won't move. And Healy to come up. So Volstad got one out and had a base runner against him. Santiago's got one out and a base runner against him. And Healy, the 5th batter of the inning. Sox again in the 9th. We'll have Abreu, Garcia, and Davidson coming up. That winds in for a strike. We'll see who those Sox batters face with Diaz warming up, and the score tentatively at 5-2.
Seattle does have the off day before San Francisco comes to town. Then it gets a little crowded for them, because then they go to Anaheim before Houston comes to town.
12 of 15 at home.
"20 straight games." After that San Francisco series, they have an off day, and then they're playing a lot, and that will be a test of their bullpen.
Oh, and 2 on Healy. Well, we saw Hector a couple outings ago with a major strikeout performance. 6 strikeouts in a couple innings of work, and he could use a punch out right here. One, two. Well, you've got Zunino next, who's not been swinging it well today. So even though you're ahead, you don't really have to give in to Healy at any point.
No, he's one of their most productive of their home run hitters.
One, two. Couple of balls, couple of strikes. Crunch to left field. No chance. Healy's second of the game.
2 3-run homers. That gives him 20 and 53 on the power numbers, and both of them were no doubters. High fastball and gone.
Zunino takes ball 1. Well, you have a guy who hits 2 3-run homers, you're probably going to win.
Usually that's the case.
Yeah.
So we will not be seeing Diaz with a fairly comfortable 6-run Seattle lead.
Two balls and a strike. Sox bullpen, we're talking about strikeouts. Sox bullpen came into this afternoon actually 8th in baseball in strikeouts per 9. So even without major fireballers out there as compared to some other teams, the Sox bullpen has been finding strikeouts, although it's not shown up here in the 8th. Avilan had 2 in the 6th. Toward the gap in left center. Engel is there, covering a lot of ground in a hurry. And that'll do it in the 8th, but 3 runs across and Seattle doubles its lead.
Lead, and we saw him in yesterday's ball game, and he looks the same here today. It's Nick Vincent on for the 34th time. He's 3-2. His ERA a touch over 4. So he's got to deal with the heart of the order.
Well, yesterday he hit Jose, and that's who he first faces here in the 9th, and we'll see if Jose can build on that single he had in the 7th inning that drew a fist pump from him when he was running to first.
Well, the swing before it was very impressive. That's the one that he cranked the ball but foul down the third baseline. Then came up with his base hit.
Breaks in for a strike, 1-1. One and two. 1-2. In the air, foul territory. And no play for Zunino. Abreu typically after the All-Star break is an improver. You see the on-base percentage and it's increased every year.
And hopefully more the same this year, because it's been a long dry spell for Jose.
So he got plunked a couple of times yesterday and walked. He's got a single here today, so he's on base 4 times last 2 days. Mariners are up 8-2. The question is, will they have a chance to, if they can put this game away, gain a game on Oakland in the West? Tied at 5 with the Giants as Abreu goes down swinging. 1 away.
Tom Woodring said he did get a piece of it. It stuck in the glove on the transfer is where Zunino dropped it, and so Woodring says he is indeed out.
Yeah, Giants and A's are tied at 5 in the 9th, and Jeurys Familia has come in for Oakland for a full inning of work. He just got our old friend Alan Hansen to ground into a double play. Alan Hansen's hitting .280, by the way.
I know he's having a nice run up with the Giants.
Sox will be back home next weekend to face Kansas City and Toronto. Blue Jays first, Kansas City second in that 6-game, 7-day homestand. First 4 in Anaheim on the way. Can you imagine traveling like the Mariners do? Every trip is a long one.
Well, the closest is Oakland, and that's not all that close. It's a couple hours down the highway.
One ball, 2 strikes. Tapper back to the mound. Vincent off the juggle, airmailed it. Avi's going for second base. Nobody covering. He's in there safely. And with 1 out, the Sox have a runner in scoring position. Well, he was short-circuited by that bobble.
Well, we see it a lot. He had all kinds of time. All he had to do was keep his concentration and make a good solid throw. It does come with spin. There's no doubt about that. But right here, he starts to panic. And he's got all kinds of time, as you see. If he just played the ball nicely, he'd have gotten him out, because when you hit it off the end of the bat, you get turned around in the batter's box. Even though Avi runs hard to first base, he wasn't within 4 steps of the bag when that ball sailed into right field.
He even saw the grip as it was coming out of Vincent's hand. There was a knuckle up, and not a throw that was in good shape. As he's got strike 1 to Davidson, who's 1 for 3. Two strikes on Matt in his first game in a week. Angels are piling on against Houston with a couple of runs more in the 7th inning. Now they've made it 11-3. Cole Calhoun with a 3-run homer. Maybe they'll expend all their runs today. Angels have only 3 guys with multiple hits in an 11-run game. Calhoun 2 hits, Ian Kinsler 2 hits, and the 9-hitter, the third baseman, David Fletcher, with 3 hits. That's the Sox' next opponent, Anaheim. There's a force field around out number 27 right now, and 26-2 for the Mariners. There's the second out of the 9th inning, a strikeout of Davidson.
So Vincent goes to the high fastball and throws it by him, leaving them 1 out away. And you got to get by Yoan Moncada from the left side, which has been problematic to a few pitchers over the last 3-4 weeks.
Ground ball, fly ball, strikeout today for Moncada as he takes strike 1 at 89. Daniel Palka may be wondering about the science behind the roof here. This one through the outdoor air for out number 3, and that is the end of the series. Seattle, thanks to a 5-run first, wins the series 2-1. 8-2 the finale.